Welcome to Crimson Guitars, welcome to my home studio, and welcome to the second episode of my Great Guitar Build-Off 2020 entrance. This is the third video, not the second. I'm losing track of my life. This competition is all about raising money for charity, but it is also about making incredible guitars and getting as many people as humanly possible around the planet making guitars themselves. Burn it. Yay! We have got the official entrance, and you need to go and follow them all at greatguitarbuildoff.com. We are hashtagging the hell out of this at #greatguitarbuildoff. But we have many people who are building along the Great Guitar Build Along. There are a bunch of prizes up for grabs. Not the least is going to be the top 5 people are going to be featured on Crimson Guitars YouTube channel, and hopefully that will help boost, you know, their channels if that is something that they're trying to build or whatever. It's going to be cool. I should put my phone on silent. I never learn. I have taken my body, I've stripped it. I've got this. I took that out of it in a weight-saving measure. I've stripped it. I've turned it into strips of wood. Can you believe it? I have hollowed it out.
Well, that's pretty cool.
But I'm taking a step back from the body, and I'm going to do a little bit of work on the neck. This is a Japanese-inspired build. If you haven't yet watched a video I put out a couple of weeks ago showing a small Japanese toolbox that I have that is one of my favorite things ever, there are numbers along the back that a lot of people thought I should use for the inlays. It doesn't quite fit in this, having those nice flowing lines. For this build, I'm thinking something a lot more geometric. I have less than a week to finish this guitar because, well, I like a challenge with my challenges, don't I? Here is my neck. In the last build, the Cyberpunk 2077 guitar, which was more of an art piece than a guitar, I was told that I'm not a guitar builder anymore, I'm an artist. With this fretboard, I did a digital kind of effect. People suggested that I do the same this time, but I'm not gonna. Don't have time. This guitar is going to be a guitar. It is going to sound as good as any other guitar. It is going to be as solid as any other guitar. Yes, I'm pushing the envelope, but at heart I am a luthier, and I am making something that can be played and will stand up to pretty much anything you can throw at it. Just because it has a lot less material than a normal solid guitar, it's still got a lot more material than a hollow body. Rather a large chunk. I'm going to do thin strips, and I'm going to follow the striping or slice pattern onto the neck. I think we're going to concentrate around the 12th fret. I don't want to do it absolutely everywhere, I don't think. The decision I've had to make was whether I go parallel to the frets or parallel to the center line, as is the case with the strips on the body. I might even, if I fancy it, change the body so that it goes parallel to the strings, because that could look even cooler. What am I messing with my hair for? I don't have any. Stop it. Don't judge. Be nice in the comments below. I've seen and heard about a bunch of people in the comments really slating some of the other contestants, and you know, the trash talk is cool. I'm enjoying the trash talk, but I don't think trash talk is allowed if you don't have skin in the game. I chose and approached all of these people to be in the competition because I like them and I respect them and I want to see what they're going to do. I'm not very good at trash talk, as is obvious. I'm just not sharp enough. But yeah, just yeah, let's be civil. Yeah, all right. And if you really don't want to be civil, go to their channel, subscribe to their channel, and hit the bell notification button, and then comment on the videos, because whether it's a negative or a positive comment, it does make a difference to the whole stats on YouTube and that. And while we're doing this for charity, it's hopefully going to positively affect the other YouTubers involved. And, you know, quite frankly, they are, to a man and woman, particularly talented, and there is stuff to learn from everybody. In fact, seriously, go and check out 3x3 Customs and check out the video that she just, well, recently put out. It's a 3-string Explorer style thing. And the way she did it taught me a few things. Stop talking, Ben, start building. Start designing, Ben, stop building. Stop talking. I need a center line. So what I'm thinking is an inlay at the 12th fret based on an oval, but I also want to have my logo in there somewhere because, well, it makes sense to. I'm not copying Texas Toast in any way, shape or form. If you haven't yet seen their build, go and check it out. They are 100% pro guitar builders, and they took our kit, removed everything about it that was kit-ish, and made a custom guitar. I respect that. On to the logo. I want to use the negative space to create the logo, so it's a little bit less tramp stampy than Texas Toast. Was that trash talk? I don't know. Essentially, I'm going to have an oval around here. It's reminiscent of these shapes. The oval is going to be made out of strips of mother of pearl. And I think that could look pretty damn cool. So. Okay, well that was a little bit nerve-wracking. So you can see about here I had a little bit of a blowout. What I probably should have done is evacuate a line, put in some mother of pearl, sand it flush, and then go on to the next one. But I didn't, because I wanted to see what the whole logo would actually look like. It's not quite as delicate as the inlay would be. I think that's all right. What is needed, however, is some mother of pearl. From here it's pretty easy. I've got a bunch of relatively long chunks of mother of pearl that need to be cut down in size. A lot of you ask me about my pencil. It's a Pentel Graph Gear 1000, 2000, something like that. Nigh on indestructible. I've had this one for over a year now, and yeah, you should use it. And BC Woodworks, awesome. Okay. And I still lost it. Number one. This is going well. One thing, I was trying to inlay the mother of pearl. I'm not entirely sure exactly what it is. I think this actually might be river pearl. I was trying to inlay that on edge on because the material is a particular thickness. The second I put a piece in, it looked dull and it looked darker actually. It seemed to reflect the bottom of the inlay cavity rather than, you know, give that look that you love from mother of pearl and shells in general. I am now having to reshape every single one of those pieces that I cut all willy-nilly, expecting they were going to go in edge on to a thickness. But we're getting there. Slowly. Back in the workshop, day 2, and I'm halfway through this inlay. I've made a few changes to my methodology because this is getting somewhat boring. I have got a crimson fret leveling beam and the masking tape and super glue trick, and I'm bulk thicknessing down the strips because I cut them the wrong width for what I needed because I thought wrong. I kind of feel like I'm making a gimmicky guitar for the point of it being gimmicky and cool. I don't know. I think I just want to do something simple and straightforward next time round. Let me know in the comments below how likely that is. I'm going to move on to the body. Now, in the previous episode, an overwhelming number of you said that should stay there. I want to try and figure out a way to still have the section that goes all the way around and holds it together, but I do want to be able to look through here because, quite frankly, my dear, I think that looks so cool. I've been playing with texture. You saw some bits and pieces on this thing. I really like the idea. I saw a Gibson probably 10 years ago now, that stuck in my mind, where they'd hand carved, it looked like hand carved, a texture into the top, and it looked like heavy figuring, and it looked really cool. And from that point I thought, that's quite cool, even though Gibson did it. Or because Gibson did it. In that short pause, there are hundreds of comments. What I'm planning on doing is having a nice, perfectly flat top, heavily sanded and gorgeous and all that jazz, which I will stain, and then, well, I'm going to be playing with shellac, actually. The sides are going to be a texture, which I'm going to be getting with actually a cut-off disc. Seems to get the best result for me. It might well change, but, well, we'll see.
I was expecting to burn this. In my tests, I was making these cuts across the grain, and this worked perfectly fine. But this is going with the grain, and yeah, I'm getting a nice pyrography sort of pre-burned effect, so I might not even need to get the blowtorch out. I think that's somewhat disappointing.
It's 8 o'clock at night, and I think if I keep on doing that, my neighbours are going to get somewhat peeved at me. What do you think? Obviously, this is only the barest beginning of what I'm after. Ah. I have a deep and abiding passion for watches. I collect them. It gets me in trouble with my wife. I love the beauty that you can find. I love the mechanisms and the way that they work and do such a precise thing so finely, and yet can be made and are made by people. And one of the things about fine watches in the middle to upper sort of range, the big range, is how they are finished. And you have hand engraving and hand finishing and hand polishing and all of that jazz. And the difference between a £5,000 watch and a £50,000 watch isn't necessarily what went, the physical bits that went into making it. It was the human time that went into making it. This finish here is directly inspired by a lady's watch that I saw made by a company called Piaget. And there's this solid gold or solid metal bracelet for a watch that is intricate, and they engrave this pattern into the gold to make it look stunning. The second I saw that, I thought, I have to do that on a guitar. And here we are. However, yes, lots and lots and lots and lots of time. And I was using a machine. So I'm going to do the same pattern on the back of the guitar. I have to. I've been thinking long and hard. So I have still got some more to do. And then, well, we need to figure out what's next. I'm taking a break from the horrific job that is slowly etching little divots into a guitar body, and I'm moving on to the neck. So the inlay was filled with just a little bit of dust and super glue, just to make sure that any gaps were filled, and any gaps that there have been. I love inlaying into ebony. You can afford to be a little bit faster and a little bit looser, because, you know, in the end, a little bit looser is all right. I'm going to use a leveling beam to just make sure that this is absolutely flat. In the filing process, I have no doubt taken a small amount of fretboard away just around the inlay. So I'm going to level that down a fraction. By small, I'm talking, you know, 1/4 of a millimetre or something like that. But we want this to be absolutely perfectly flat. And then we will, well, I'll put some frets in. Why not? Okay, so the kit started out as a 12-inch radius fretboard, or with a 12-inch radius fretboard. I instead of sanding with my leveling beam parallel to the center line, which would keep that 12-inch radius, I sanded essentially parallel to the strings, so in a cone shape, thus flattening it out at the higher frets and keeping the 12-inch radius at the nut, or thereabouts. Basically, I've made a compound radius. And in fact, it's more difficult to keep a non-compound radius when you're doing this sort of work. You'll find that many necks that have had a refret, the tops of the frets will actually be leveled into somewhat of a compound radius just by the person doing the leveling not really trying hard enough. I don't know. Anyway, it's not a bad thing. I personally prefer a compound radius. It makes the playing easier, etc. And in this case, we're going from a 12-inch there to, yeah, just 12-inch to a 14-inch. At the moment, I might carry on. So yeah, I have an even amount of relief in there. Basically almost nothing, but it's even all the way along, so I'm happy to leave it as that, because the truss rod will take care of everything else. Crimson kits, well, you can hear the truss rod. It's not tight. Crimson kits come with a dual action truss rod as standard. So, well, there we go. Fixed. I need to stop dropping tools. So obviously I have inlaid over my fret slots. Just crimson fret slotting saw, gently. And this cuts on the pull. So I've gone through and just touched up a little bit, a few of the edges. In something like this, there's always going to be a corner or a bit or whatever that just needs a little bit of ebony dust stuck in. I have ebony dust. Life's good. Next up is the fretting. But if I was to slam frets in here, I would shatter all of those. So I need to get a Dremel tool with a sort of 0.8 of a millimeter router cutter, milling cutter, something like that, and just open up the ends of each of these things. Now, the problem with that is I'm actually taking a lot of the slot away that supports the fret. So I'm going to take away as little as possible, and absolutely I have to glue these, at least those two frets in, because there's not going to be very much wood to support it. So the little triangular file just opens out the top of the fret slot. It makes it just a little bit easier for the fret to locate itself prior to hammering in. If you don't do this, you run the risk of putting the fret in at an angle, and it's not pretty nor fun, and it means you have to then refinish the whole fretboard. I got the frets as part of the kit from Crimson, and they come on masking tape in the correct order, which is pretty cool. So you want the neck supported as much as humanly possible throughout the whole process, and it's just a case of tapping them in. You have several options with frets. I do not like leaving a gap underneath the fret. I think it weakens the guitar neck. I will either fill that with super glue, which is always a mess to clean up afterwards, or I will use a basic standard wood glue, which is easier to clean up, but still, when it dries solid, and means that the whole neck is much more stable, basically. My glue of choice for most woodwork is Alkaline Professional. It is the same formula as Titebond 50, which isn't available in the UK. Everybody can get it through crimsonguitars.com. It's great stuff. This time I don't have a syringe to, with precision, apply it into my slots. So I'm just going to use a small paintbrush, and I have tissue and some water available to quickly clear it off. Now, When fretting, keep your neck as supported as humanly possible. So I've got the headstock off the edge of the bench because it's an angled headstock, and I'm just going to crack on. So there. Crimson dead below fretting hammer, and away we go. So locate the fret where it's supposed to be, and then ease it out. And essentially, I'm pushing the tang into the wood and then out underneath the loosened fibres that the sort of sticky outy bits on the tang have created, therefore making for a stronger seat. Piece of excess ebony from the Cyberpunk build. Scrape away most of the excess glue. Actually, I shouldn't have put that there, should I? Come on, off you go. Once you've sprayed the water on and you've cleared away the excess, if there is a gap, there will be watery glue underneath the fret, and if you hammer it in, it'll spurt out and you'll visually be able to very rapidly see what is going on. Nope, no loose frets. There we go. And this whole time I've been thinking, do I use super glue or do I use wood glue? I'm going to use wood glue. It dries absolutely solid. I still have wood holding the 3 frets to a certain extent in place at the 12th fret, and it will dry as strong as, it'll be fine. I'm sure there are many people with different techniques for installing frets. I'm not saying this is the best one. I've made several hundred guitars in person and been in charge of many more than that being made, and I think this is my favorite method. I have a fret press at Crimson. I learnt with a hammer. My whole thing is teaching, and my whole thing is teaching people who are at home, and most of you aren't going to go and buy a fret press to make 1 or 2 guitars at home as a hobby. If you're going to make more than that, fret presses are actually pretty great. I prefer using a hammer. I have a factory, I've got 20 staff, we manufacture guitars. I've got CNCs, I've got a laser cutter coming, woohoo. But on the channel, I'm not using those things because for most people, that's not what you have. And I want to use what you have to promote guitar building. Let me know in the comments below if you want to see more CNC stuff on the channel, because that can be done. I've been operating under the assumption that that's not interesting to you. But anyway, what I want to say is, this may not be the best fretting technique. You may have something that I've never thought of before, or an argument against what I do. Let me know in the comments below if you do. I am constantly learning, and I love learning. I'm not precious about my knowledge. I want to be better than I am currently. So it's not hard to be better than I am right now. So let's do that, eh? Sure. I have a neck, and somehow in the process of doing that, the rain has come down. This is England after all. Well, since the cows, I've been at this now for maybe an hour, and we're done. At this stage in the build, there's still some carving to do actually. I'm going to be adding a different texture inside all of those. That's all well and good, it's not going to take too long. Looking at this here, I'm potentially changing my plans. I'm uncertain. That does look really, really, really cool. I did a quick test with some copper leaf over the texture. I was talking about the Piaget watch and how that was in gold, and I thought, hey, gold leaf or copper leaf or something like that would be great. But I don't know. Why don't I just keep it simple and just leave it like that? Let me know what you think in the comments below. It might be too late, considering I have, I think, less than a week now to finish this, but let me know what you think. Something will happen. I've done a lot. It was tedious, but I think worthwhile. The top is going to have a different texture. The top is going to be lovely and pristine. So we've got not gloss, but nice and smooth. We've got that texture, then we've got an internal texture there as well. The neck, the frets are in. The glue has, by this point, probably cured. So the first job I'm going to do in the next episode is clip off the fret ends and crack on with the thing. Please do not forget that this is all for charity. This guitar is going to be available via raffle. The proceeds from the entire raffle will be going to, in my case, the Trussell Trust. You will be able to buy raffle tickets for my guitar, for Jimmy DeRessa's guitar, for Wonder Bread Guitars guitar, or should I say 3 guitars, because they made a single guitar with 3 necks. I suppose one of them is probably a Mando cello or something funny like that. Seriously, if you haven't seen that, go and check out what they're doing. And everybody else, Big D, etc. Tamar Hannah, I haven't seen what she's doing yet. So yeah, check out the rest of the official entries into the Great Guitar Build-Off. And we have, at last count, I think at least several hundred people interested in joining the Great Guitar Build-Along, which is the sort of unofficial side challenge, which has got some pretty cool prizes and stuff. So yeah, I'm following along with those people very interestedly. Thank you for your support. Click like, subscribe, hit the notification button, and if you've already done all of those things, I really do appreciate your support. Thank you. All right, so this bit here has got some oil paint in it. I wanted to see what it looked like with copper on the highlights and then oil paint in the texture, and then the rest is just copper leaf. I could probably get a better finish just with a can of spray paint, to be honest. I'm tempted to leave it. I'm tempted to leave it. We'll get there. Goodbye.